All right, there we go. The red light is on. Good afternoon, evening, or wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Black Lion Airspace. I am Zach Silo. You can find me at Black Lion 120 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can email me at zacsci at gmail.com. Also, you can listen to this show by multiple means of Anchor, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Pods, and other means. You could also please click my link tree to do so. One more thing, you know this by now, folks. If you've actually listened to my show, please subscribe to my YouTube page. Please, please. Thank you very much. All right. My guest today, how can I describe him? He's Black Baymax on Twitter. He's an artist. He's a proud member of the wrestling Twitter community. We've been together as brothers now, like over a year. So this is pretty much a tribute to our first appearance on Badlands. We would actually go on and tag along with our dear brother in arms, Conrad Cushman from Everything is Pro Wrestling. Salutes to Conrad. And I actually have teased this, ladies and gentlemen. I've teased this on social media to Chris, and I'm keeping my word. All right. I am wearing, if anybody can see this, clearly, it is Orange Cassidy in full effect, ladies and gentlemen. And it's been created by Chris right here from the North Carolina. Thank you for coming on.
Hey man, I appreciate you having me, dude.
All right, so our history, like I said, goes back to Badlands or the road to there, really. Mags brought me on because he knew that I actually brought something to the table in our little community. And then he introduced me to you before we actually even came on, and you and I started talking. And we found out that we've actually had a lot in common that's not just pro wrestling. Thank God.
Yes, man.
God. Real good shit along the way. Let's see. We actually did Badlands on, I believe, June 11th last year, or 12th, one of those two. And at the end, I made the announcement that I was finally going through with this crazy show that everybody seems to kind of like. And come on now, what? And I did say that you would be on with me. I was not going to leave you in the dust. You actually were one of my biggest supporters. And from there on, we almost been collabing and talking ever since. And then it led to us being on with our dear friend Conrad for G1 talks. And I gotta believe the last time that we actually spoke, you and I, like this, was August. Yeah, I think you and we were on Everything Pro for that New Japan, not G1. This is post G. Uh, Royal Quest. There we go. I think that was it. I think you were on that one.
Nah, it was it was G1. It was G1 because when
Yeah,
they had the G1
yeah.
special later on.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting you confused with some other people. I'm sorry.
No, you good, bro. Good.
Okay. So that's enough with the background, and I thank you again for coming on. For anybody that's actually listened to this show, this man is one of the greatest artists that I've ever seen. And he's told me time and again that if I needed something from him, he would come through. Well, if anybody who's listened to this show knows my story, that I actually have a logo designer. Say hello to him. He's actually made my logo, and I remember it like it was yesterday. He sent me a prototype, and I just lost my mind right there. just seeing how much detail it was. It was almost my complete vision right there and then. And then he went back and refined it, and the final product is exactly what you see today. And without him, I wouldn't be where I am. So thank you very much for having.
I appreciate it, man. Look, I don't take any credit in it, even though y'all hype me up and gas me up. I really don't take all the credit. It's y'all that give me the idea. You gave me the idea, and y'all pretty much just gave me the spark to do what I need to do, and
Right
it's all
on.
giving back.
For anybody out there that's not just familiar with me, Chris has done work for many of us out. He's actually made edits for the likes of the Puro Queen 12 herself, Courtney Summers.
Hmm.
He's actually made show logos for the Queen of Any, the number one female podcaster in our industry. Who else? Her actual do-it-yourself crew of Mort and Pops. So many others. I actually am so in awe of how big he is in our world. And I knew I had to have him on. I knew it from almost the moment that we started talking, and I actually became a podcaster. And I promised him, and I came through with it. And we're gonna rock with this thing until we are ready to leave. We are gonna rock with this thing until we're ready to leave. All right. So, how did you actually start going into art overall?
Well, basically, it started when I was about, say it was like a senior in high school, right around junior and senior in high school. I just started drawing, just randomly drawing Winnie the Pooh on like one of the little cereal containers, and my mom looked at me like, "Chris, did you trace that?" No, I just looked off of it and I drew how it was, and that's how it all got started. I just went through all my high school, and I suck at painting. Just to be quite honest, I suck. But the drawing shit, I had down. But
Oh,
it carried me all throughout high school, and then thankfully I ended up going to college for 5 years, got my bachelor's in the stuff I do now, and how I'm doing the edits right now is because of one person. I don't know if she's on Twitter right now, but she pretty much gave me the idea when I saw her Selena and Andrade edit. When I saw that, I was like, I can do something like that. And then, as they say, the rest is history.
oh, yes, it has. And you've touched so many lives with your work, man. I remember Conrad, and he pulled me aside. I think this was going into that group that we were in with File Original, Paul from Badlands, and somebody else. It's been so long. But
Yeah,
I remember Conrad pulling me aside and said, I want you and Chris on my show because I see how you two actually are clicking and not just that. Have you seen some of his work? I said, have I seen some of his work? Dude, he's the man when it comes to this. He's the man. Why wouldn't you want him on your show? Why wouldn't you want him on Conrad? He's the best. He's like Val. He's like me. He's like everybody else that we've known. Bring him on. You've seen how we are. Let's bring it to the masses. And then the rest, like you said, was history.
and as much as y'all give me all types of praise, I'm no one special. I'm no one special. I just do this because I do it because I love to do it. I mean,
And, and it shows. It truly shows. Like every single detail, as long as I've known you, I actually look it over. I'm like, man, he really puts time and effort into this. Many artists, they don't really do that. But you just like, okay, I got somebody like Orange Cassidy, for example. You actually just see the person or whatever you want, and then you just go at it. And I remember, like I said, with the Black Lions Aerospace logo, you showed me the prototype, and it was almost exactly what I wanted. I didn't say to you right there and then, like how I wanted it. You just gave me the prototype. And I remember telling you this. I almost cried right there and then, like from just the prototype itself. If you gave me the prototype only, I would have accepted that happily. But you actually felt that you could bring something even stronger. And for that, I'll always be grateful. Always.
Hey, anytime, anytime.
Okay, and then how did you actually bring your art onto Twitter? Because I know that we met by way of the Brainbuster crew, but
Uh-huh.
before we even got involved with Daryl, Mags, and Paul, who I believe are listening, how did you actually bring your stuff to Twitter?
Just a spur of the moment type of thing. I was thinking, and everybody's got a Twitter account. And I'm just like, why not? I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna get any kind of benefit from it, but turns out a few years later, lo and behold, here I am.
Oh yes, you are, and you're one. You are the best actual artist in our little hodge. Not hodgepodge. That's how I end off this show. Damn it. Okay, in our nice, loving group. Then let's go there. That's how we do it on this show. Hodgepodge is the nasty times we're living in, not the group that we are representing. Thank you very much. And if anybody was offended, I'm sorry. I apologize wholeheartedly. All right. Let's see. Hmm. As far as the art, let's transition to wrestling because your art is in the world of pro wrestling. So, how did you actually become a general fan of this crazy, crazy sport or dramatized showing that we love so dearly?
You got both parts right, though. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Crazy and traumatized. You are absolutely right. But like, but like anything else in life, it was because of my older brother. I sat when I was 2 years old, and I sat and watched him watching watching guys like Ted DiBiase, Macho Man, Lex Luger, and I used to walk around the house going Ted DiBiase, Ted DiBiase, and then then Power Rangers happened when I was 5, and then later on, right around, of course, right around the Attitude Era, guys like The Rock, guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, characters like that pretty much sat my happy ass in front of the TV. I was glued since then.
Oh man. So, how did you get into New Japan? Because that's where we really started to mesh, and Conrad took notice of that. He's always saying and giving us credit that we're two of the most passionate New Japan fans that he's ever seen in his life. So, how did you get into that realm to per se?
I started watching move compilations. Like when I was in college, that was one of the things that I watched to pass the time. I started watching move compilations of certain wrestlers that were quote unquote were in the WWE but used some of the same moves that were in WWE but they weren't going by their name. So I was going like, oh, shit, that's a rock bottom. Oh, shit. And then I eased my way into New Japan right around 2000, 2000 like right around 13 whenever I saw AJ Styles in the same ring, and I was like, bruh, bruh, you were in this match, and I believe it was him and Tetsuya Naito. It might have been, yeah, it was him and Naito at Wrestle Kingdom 9. That's when I really got into it.
Okay. So, I'm trying to remember my New Japan histories and Naito versus AJ. That did happen at Wrestle Kingdom 9, and that was 2015. Because AJ debuted for Bullet Club
Mhm.
roughly May of 2014. So you came in roughly about 15.
Yeah.
Okay. So what kept you a fan of this overall genre that we hold so near and dear to our hearts?
The people. Sometimes it's the people. People that people like Amy, people like Queen, who are actually who actually love this sport and actually see the good in it because of everything else that's going on outside, and some of the bad apples in the wrestling community I won't talk about. And plus is the big matches. I love to see I love to see those type of matches in wrestling. Period. Doesn't matter the promotion. Hell, I just love wrestling.
Oh man. Well, God bless you for sitting through WWE. I can't do that for the love of
Oh
me.
Lord. Oh my God. Oh my God. I
um,
don't know how either.
uh, well, I give you credit, Queen credit, Joshy boy, and
Yeah.
Kevin from Rebirth. Anybody that sits through WWE, God bless you all for your time and your brainwave not getting shot to hell. Seriously. Because my brain went as far as that when got killed many years ago. And I thought that there would be a chance that they would redeem themselves. And then circa 2018,
Mhm.
no,
Mhm.
poor Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh.
Poor Nakamura.
Mm.
That's all and I'll still tell this story. And I think Anthony from Smart to Death can actually testify to this. It was the yeah, I think this was post WrestleMania that year. Nakamura, the Royal Rumble winner, already has been disrespected.
Mhm.
And then him and AJ face off at Backlash.
Mhm.
And they go to a draw. And I say, what horse shit is this? What is this? Why? 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 And I'm thinking not just from the standpoint of Zachary Shiloh. I'm thinking from the standpoint of WWE as a business. They
Right.
always claim that, okay, we listen to our fans, we love our fans, this, that, and the third. I remember WWE at that point in time, they actually had a Japanese tour coming up.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, okay, WWE is going to Japan. Do the right thing for once. Do the right thing. Make Nakamura and Asuka the champions because the Japanese, they love their own. And when the Japanese are on top, you're going to actually make some ticket sales. But then the reverse happened time again for both. And I said, oh, WWE. Oh, WWE.
Yeah.
You're
They had ample chances of making Shinsuke Nakamura and Asuka come out on top as champions. Not even before, well, yeah, in before WrestleMania, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam. They could have done that. They could have pulled the trigger then. But
oh, that is true. And my fiance at the time, she could actually testify to this. We were sitting through SummerSlam, and then Nakamura lost, and we're saying to ourselves, "Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? This company does not get the hint that gender doesn't want to. I mean, let's try this again. That gender is not over as
no,
the champion. He's not over. Nakamura's the hottest thing going right now. Give him the belt, damn it. Especially after his NXT run, and you've been
yeah,
gassing him up. But then they didn't do it. And we went into Survivor Series, and I still cannot believe that AJ Styles fought Brock. I
yeah,
I was thinking for the longest time it was gonna be not AJ, Gender versus Brock, and I was
And
laughed either which way
thank
because I didn't care about either one of them.
and thank the Lord that did not happen because that match would have got entirely shit on.
Especially from the gender part. People were already
Mm.
kind of with Brock. Me,
Mhm.
I was like, and I will not mention one person in particular because he's very, very hated.
Mhm.
But somebody in the wrestling community that's not associated with Chris and I, somebody that's way famous for his controversial cues, and
Mhm.
he's a podcaster, ladies. And let's just say that he's from New York. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
And he works for House of Glory.
Mhm.
Hence,
That's all. That's all we need to know. That's all. That's
that's
all
all
that
I
needs to
need.
be said.
Go off those cues, and if you want to actually have this conversation with me, Black Lion is always available on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. But anyways, let's see what else in pro wrestling. Your art, man, your art, like truly, it is some of the best stuff that I have ever seen in that genre. Like, how did you really start getting onto these podcasts with your art as far as pro wrestling bit goes?
The very first person that asked me to do a logo was Mag for While We Watch. I believe one of the first people. I know you were,
Oh
especially
yes.
I know you were, but one of the very first people that got me into it was Mag for While We Watch, and he had me on. I believe it was like episode 13 or 14, somewhere around there, at one of the beginning stages, and I was like, "Wow, you're coming to me for a logo? Like what? What is like what's going on? Are you sure you want me to do this?" And we went through the idea. We went through the ideas of like what's going on, how we wanted to do it, and it went from there.
Oh, Mags. You did not tell me that Chris made your logo.
Hmm.
Oh, man, we actually need to talk about that. I had no clue. I knew that you made my logo, that's for sure. You definitely made Queens. You definitely
Hmm.
made her her cohorts that were not brainbusters. Oh man. And then you just made edits for almost everybody from the Puro Queen herself, the former Switch Babe, Courtney Summers, who
Yeah.
who I actually affectionately call Squirt. For anybody that knows my relationship with Courtney, I call her Squirt. So anybody that knows, now you understand a little bit of who Squirt is. You've done it for who else? I believe uh, Ashley Nova, her name is.
Yeah.
Courtney's dear old friend.
Hmm.
Who else have you actually worked with? Uh, that I'm trying to remember because you've actually gone with a lot of people. Oh man, what's this girl's name that was a big Sting fan? She was kind of blondish. Amanda.
Amanda.
Yeah,
Amanda.
Amanda. There we go. I remembered it. I remembered it. I remember her being a big Sting fan, and you
Hmm.
made her edit, and I said, "This dude's on fire." He's just like hitting everybody, like me, Queen, her cohorts that weren't brain busted, Conrad to some degree or another, and then it just like became wildfire for you.
Yeah.
Oh
And
man, and I'm still in awe of it all together. Like not even a year later after we actually got through talking to Conrad about the G1 and look at you're still doing the hot fire shit. Me, I'm somehow some way made it to second year of podcast after
not
the likes of you Mags, the Visionaries heads, the Brainbusters, all of them, even Courtney and Good Guy Dave. So many people. They were like, Zach, have your own show. Zach, have your own show. And I'm saying to them, I don't know if I can do this. I really don't know. And then anybody that knows where I'm going, God bless you. Then along comes Graham of the Visionaries Cops, and the rest was history. And my first reaction was truly the G1 being announced. And that's one of my biggest hits. People somehow, some way gravitated to that. And for that, anybody that stuck with me from the beginning, thank you very much. I am very humble. And I hope that with Chris and anybody that comes on here, that this will be even better than season one. Okay, staying in the world of pro wrestling, how have you survived actually watching the non-audience?
I watch stuff with an audience. That's the one thing I had to do that, bro. Especially like NXT and to some degree AEW when they started until they started like bringing they started scattering people from the roster to the outside. I was like, the only thing that really is keeping me is the wrestling in the ring and
Mm,
stuff like the quote unquote production matches, like the Boneyard match and the Money in the Bank match to some extent. Stuff like that are like some of the grade A top notch stuff from the no audience. Might as well go and say no audience era of wrestling right now.
oh, you've heard that first on this show, folks. That we actually have somebody that truly believes that this is the best era going right now, and I'm not gonna disagree. I'm not gonna disagree. I kind of like it because you don't got people heckling these poor wrestlers,
True.
and these wrestlers can go a little bit. I think a little bit stronger, a little bit longer. So as much as I kind of hate to say this, and people know I don't like actually giving credit to this. Thank you, coronavirus, for actually rearing your ugly head in this case. Uh, that's really, really nasty to say. Uh, okay, so staying in the Roman wrestling and going back to New Japan. Have you seen the New Japan Cup yet?
Oh, oh my God. I can't stop talking. I can't stop talking about the New Japan Cup. I am so happy that New Japan is back, and good on New Japan for taking the necessary precautions as to as to fit in with the time that we're in today. The social distancing, sanitizing everything. You have a ring crew outside and really good sanitation with, and I applaud New Japan. I applaud them for doing that.
Mm. So, what have you thought of the actual New Japan results so far with the Cup?
So far, up until one match, I was like, yeah, okay, we got that. But the Nagata Suzuki match, bruh, 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 you you talk about two elder statesmen of New Japan actually just going chop for chop, hit for hit, blow for blow. My head still hurts from actually even thinking about that match and see what these two had to go through. But only Nagata came out bleeding, and Suzuki's just laying there smiling. He wanted more, and it was pissed that he didn't get it. I was like, oh my god, what?
That still blows my mind. That match is hands down to me. And this is just my opinion, folks. You may have a difference in opinion. That's all right. But so far, that is the match of this tournament to me. Those two were just like blow for blow, chop for chop, kick for kick, submission for submission. This is what Undertaker to me should have been. Like straight up what Undertaker should be, even post losing the streak. But for me, Undertaker started going,
Yeah,
once he
yeah.
lost the streak, gone down, high quality gone down. But Murder
Dude,
Dad and Blue Justice, I will keep on saying this to anybody and everybody. I don't care. Okada versus Gato should not have been the main event on Tuesday,
no,
damn it.
no, it shouldn't have. It shouldn't have, dude.
It should
And
not
I
have been.
and like you said, it was and I've been saying this on Twitter, and I've been responding to people talking about the match. That's been the best match of the cup, and we just got through half the first round. That is still the best match of the cup. I don't think anybody's going to top that.
Oh man, good luck to everybody that has advanced thus far, and we still got. A matter of fact, tomorrow we're back in action, man.
Oh yeah, yes sir,
Tomorrow,
yes sir.
oh man, we got 2 days of New Japan Cup going straight. Or wait a minute. I think we got like maybe 2 or 3 days straight.
You know what? Yeah,
Uh,
we
they
got
they
tomorrow.
got
Got
computer
we got tomorrow. We got Tuesday and maybe Wednesday.
checking now. Oh, thank God for computers, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, come on. There we go. There we go. Sometimes it absolutely sucks to try and actually use websites without triple W dot.
Yeah.
Okay, so going to the actual schedule, New Japan. And this is no lie, ladies and gentlemen. This is Zachary Shallow's computer right now. Okay, so right now listed, I was correct. The next 3 days, we actually have New Japan Cup action.
Oh shit!
I do not know how I'm going to get through this. Seriously. Wednesday is going to have to be that day where I actually literally have to just go away from social media all day long and
I'm
just watch it. Watch
right.
it all 3 days worth. Oh, man. And then next week, same thing, but it's going to be Wednesday through Friday.
Oh my god.
Oh, man. And then we have July 11th as the finals. The finals of this thing. And for those that are living under a rock, the winner, ladies and gentlemen, of this tournament this year will face Tetsuya Naito for the Intercontinental and Heavyweight Championships of New Japan when they actually made that announcement. This is exactly Zachary Shillow's reaction right now. Excuse me. Excuse me. Seriously. The winner is getting a shot at both belts. Not winner's choice like the last 6 years or more. Wow. God bless. All right. So take away Murder Dad's loss. I believe I actually called almost every single body correct thus far.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Now, who do I think is going to win? The most logical sense for me in the past few months, I would say that Hiromu should be the one to win. I believe he should be the one to win. because this whole entire thing with the Corona, if it didn't have happened, it was supposed to be Hiromu versus Naito at the anniversary show. But
Yep.
because of the dear old problem that we all have, it's forced our hand. And Hiromu's only chance at getting a crack at Naito is to win the cup. And I would be for it because it would actually make not Hiromu bigger, but I believe the juniors as a whole, very big deal.
Yeah,
Very big deal.
I
Especially,
I'm
say,
with you.
hypothetically, Hiromu was to had win. I'm not saying he would win. Hypothetically, if he won, that would make the juniors even more of a big deal than they ever were before.
You ain't lying.
Oh man. And I'm still saying this, and I will keep on saying it till my face is blue. New Japan failed Fergal Devitt, damn it. They failed him. He should have been the IWGP heavyweight champ, even when he held that junior championship. I know they were huge on Okada, but if they wanted Bullet Club to explode, this is just my opinion. Devitt should have beat Okada either at that show in 2013 that they fought at for the belt, or, and this may get me some heat. This may get me some heat for my words, but I'm not gonna actually say this without apologizing. I'm gonna be completely honest. As much as I love me some Shinsuke Nakamura, as much as I love him, I think that if Devitt wasn't leaving, that should have been his time.
Mhm.
If Devitt was not leaving and they wanted Bullet Club to be a legit threat and elevate Devitt to the next level, he should have won the New Japan Cup in 2014.
Mm.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, Zachary Shiloh is not apologizing. I'm not sorry. I
See,
am a huge Devitt fan. And I'm happy that Nakamura did win that year, though. I was happy. I was happy. So, sorry, not sorry.
hey,
Sorry, not sorry.
hey, let's think about it. The landscape would have changed dramatically if Devitt would have won the New Japan Cup that year, and if he would have challenged for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship and won.
Oh my God. I probably would have lost my mind right there, especially if he was the demon in that point in time. He was one of the people that really got me into being a New Japan fan. I remember people that I knew on Facebook, and this is way before I even had a Twitter account. They were talking about Wrestle Kingdom 8 and this guy coming out in War Paint. And I'm saying to myself, wow, he's awesome. And lo and behold, I knew Devitt. I knew, or excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, anybody that does not understand who we're talking about, let me translate into WWE talk. One Finn Balor. That's who we are talking about, ladies and gentlemen. If you do not know your New Japan history, that is Finn Balor. So do not get it twisted. It's the same person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember hearing about him in 14, and then the name jogged my memory because he appeared in a match against what was it? Loki and Christopher Daniels for Impact, I think.
Mhm.
So wait a minute. Yes, it was Apollo 55. It was him and Taguchi against
Mhm.
Triple X. I believe that Triple X came over from TNA to New Japan for a brief match. And they actually beat Apollo 55. I did not see David again until he became the rock and roller, or what I thought at the time was pseudo Chris Jericho. Pseudo Chris Jericho. Because I remember Chris Jericho having the lighted jacket at that point in time. So I actually
Yeah.
used to say, oh, here comes false Jericho. And if Devitt is ever watching this, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. That's the way I felt. But I respect you, dude. Seriously. Because you're one of the best wrestlers in the world. Okay, so going forward with the New Japan thing, who do you think outside of Hiromu could win it? Who do you think outside of Hiromu can win? Oh shit. Technical difficulties on my end. Oh shit. All right, after a brief break, we'll respond with Chris again because I think I've gone through technical difficulties. Yeah.